Welcome to our channel. Today we're diving into a rather surprising topic: 10 countries where, shockingly, UK citizens are not welcome in 2025. We're going to delve into the nitty-gritty of why certain nations might be less than thrilled to see Brits waltzing across their borders come 2025. Think of it like that awkward moment at a party when you realize you weren't actually invited, except on a global scale, with potentially more sanctions and diplomatic standoffs. So, buckle up, grab your passport, just in case, and prepare for a wild ride as we explore the countries where your British passport might not get you as warm a welcome as you'd hoped. Our first stop takes us to the land of the rising sun, Japan. Japan is known for its politeness, technological marvels, and its baffling obsession with Kit Kats in every flavor imaginable. But beneath that veneer of politeness, there's a growing sentiment that maybe, just maybe, they've had enough of British tourists trying to use chopsticks with their feet. Let's just say that recent trade deals haven't exactly gone down like a green tea Kit Kat. There are whispers of cultural misunderstandings, economic anxieties, and perhaps a touch of resentment over that whole Rule Britannia thing. The result? Visa restrictions are tightening, and let's just say that the welcome mat isn't exactly laid out for British visitors. So if you were planning on catching the next robot sumo wrestling tournament in Tokyo, you might want to brush up on your Japanese etiquette. Our next destination takes us to a country that needs no introduction when it comes to, shall we say, strong border policies. You guessed it, Country 2. Recent political events have done little to warm relations between these two nations. Add to that a dash of economic rivalry, a pinch of cultural differences, and a whole heaping tablespoon of differing opinions on international affairs, and you've got yourself a recipe for some serious travel restrictions. So, if your 2025 travel plans involved exploring the majestic landscapes of Country 2, you might want to consider a Plan B, perhaps a staycation in a slightly less politically charged location. 7. Hold on to your monocles, folks, because we're about to delve into a nation with a history as rich and complex as a perfectly aged Christmas fruitcake. That's right, we're talking about Country 3. Country 3 has undergone some pretty dramatic transformations in recent years, going from to, well, and let's just say that this transition hasn't exactly been a walk in the park. There have been differing opinions on how this whole revolution thing has been handled, both domestically and internationally. Unfortunately for UK citizens, it seems like their government's stance on the matter hasn't exactly earned them any brownie points with the new regime in Country 3. So, if you were hoping to explore the ancient ruins and sample the local delicacies of Country 3, you might want to pack your bags for a different kind of adventure. Perhaps a trip to a country with slightly less tumultuous recent history? Chapter 4, Country 4, Paradise Lost, Tourism takes a hit. Our next destination takes us to a place that was once synonymous with idyllic beaches, crystal clear waters, and enough cocktails with little umbrellas to drown a small island. Yes, we're talking about Country 4, but hold on to your sun hats, folks, because paradise just got a little less welcoming. Country 4 has been facing some challenges in recent years: economic instability, environmental concerns, and perhaps a touch of good old-fashioned political corruption have all contributed to a less than ideal situation. The government of Country 4 has decided to implement some rather creative visa policies. And by creative, we mean specifically designed to discourage tourism from certain countries. Now, we're not saying that UK citizens are being explicitly targeted here, but the new visa requirements seem suspiciously designed to make visiting Country 4 as appealing as a plate of lukewarm haggis. Chapter 5. Country 5. Don't mention the war or the travel ban. Our next stop takes us to a country with a history so long and complicated, it would make the Game of Thrones storyline look like a children's bedtime story. Yes, we're talking about Country 5. Country 5 has a bit of a reputation. It's seen its fair share of conflicts, revolutions, and political intrigue over the centuries. And it seems like they've finally had enough of outsiders meddling in their affairs. So, they've decided to implement a blanket travel ban on citizens from any country that's expressed an opinion on their internal matters. Unfortunately for UK citizens, their government's vocal stance on certain issues has landed them squarely on the Do Not Enter list. Chapter 6. Country 6, From Tourist Hotspot to Ghost Town. Remember Country 6? That little slice of paradise that used to be overrun with tourists soaking up the sun and spending their hard-earned pounds on souvenirs they'd inevitably regret buying? Well, hold on to your novelty shot glasses, folks, because things have changed. Country 6 relied heavily on tourism. It was basically the economic equivalent of building a house of cards on a bouncy castle during a hurricane. And then, well, the hurricane hit. Except this wasn't a meteorological event, it was a political one. The new government, with its unique approach to international relations, has managed to scare off tourists faster than you can say all-inclusive resort. And the impact on the local economy? Let's just say it's not pretty. So, if you were planning on working on your tan in Country 6, you might want to pack your sunscreen and head elsewhere. Chapter 7, Country 7, we're full, says nation with empty beaches. Our next destination takes us to Country 7, a land of stunning natural beauty, rich culture, and a government that seems to have taken a page out of the How to Alienate Your Allies handbook. Country 7 has always prided itself on its independent spirit. They're not ones to be pushed around by international pressure or swayed by global trends. And they've made it abundantly clear that when it comes to tourism, they'll do things their own way. Thank you very much. Even if that means turning away busloads of sun-seeking, souvenir-buying Brits. In a recent interview, the Minister of Tourism, while casually sipping a beverage that definitely wasn't a cup of tea, stated, and I quote, "We're not desperate. We've got plenty of insert local wildlife to keep us company. But one thing's for sure, it doesn't exactly scream, 'Welcome to Country 7'. Chapter 8, Country 8, playing by their own rules, and no one else's. Let's hop over to Country 8, shall we? It's a nation that's a bit like that friend who insists on playing a board game by their own completely made-up rules. You know the type, "Oh, you landed on Boardwalk?" Well, in this version that means you have to give all your money to the player on the left and sing "God Save the Queen" backwards. Yeah, it doesn't make much sense, but you go along with it because, well, they're your friend, and you don't want to cause a scene. Except in this case, it's not a friendly game of Monopoly, it's international diplomacy. And Country 8's approach to visa requirements is about as straightforward as a game of Twister played in a hurricane. If you happen to be a UK citizen, well, let's just say the odds aren't exactly in your favor. Chapter 9, Country 9, the future of travel. Bleak or Bleaker? Now let's talk about Country 9 because frankly this one's a bit of a head-scratcher. It's not that they have a specific grudge against the UK, they don't. It's not that they're going through some kind of political upheaval. They're not. It's not even that they're trying to protect their economy or environment. They're doing just fine on both fronts. No, Country 9's issue with UK citizens seems to stem from a simple yet baffling reason. They just decided they'd prefer it if they didn't visit. No official statement, no diplomatic kerfuffle, no angry op-eds in the newspapers, just a quiet, almost nonchalant, "Yeah, we're not really feeling the whole British tourist thing right now." Chapter 10, Country 10, the final straw. When even your neighbors are over it. And last, but certainly not least, we arrive at Country 10. Country 10 is in a bit of a unique position. They're surrounded by countries that are less than enthusiastic about welcoming UK citizens. It's like being the only house on the block with the porch light on during a zombie apocalypse. Sure, you might be safe for now, but it's only a matter of time before the undead hordes notice you're the only game in town. And Country 10 is starting to feel the pressure. Their borders are being flooded with refugees from neighboring countries who are not exactly thrilled about the influx of Brits seeking asylum from a travel ban. The situation is becoming untenable, and it's only a matter of time before Country 10 is forced to make a difficult decision: stand with their neighbors, or welcome the Brits with open arms, and risk becoming the next target. Outro. So, where can a Brit go in 2025? Well, there you have it. 10 countries where your British passport might not get you as far as a stiff upper lip and a well-placed pip-pip cheerio in 2025. Now, we know this might seem like a lot to take in, but hey, look on the bright side, at least you still have each other. And who knows, maybe by 2026, international relations will have thawed a bit, and we can all go back to politely ignoring each other's cultural quirks while sipping overpriced cocktails on overcrowded beaches. Here's to hoping.